Hello, my name's Kate. This is Alice, my model. I'm going to be talking to you about doing a corrective makeup for HD on film and television. I'm using a cult brand that's really popular in the film and TV world called Makiage, available at PAM. Keeping it quite simple actually. With HD it's got to be fine, you can't go heavy. First thing is I'll use the mixer. Now with Alice I use my hand as my palette again. This is a very reasonably priced mixer. The first mixer that I came across, and I still think the best on the market. So if we just, Alice's skin is very normal, very nice, a little bit of corrective to be done. If we just moisten by putting the mixer on, you can use the mixer either mixed with your base or just underneath like a moisturiser. Either way it helps everything to spread evenly. It's a great light reflective medium, which is why it's so popular with makeup artists and photography. So there we are, I've just put a really small amount all over the face. I'm going to go back to this palette. Well, we've got two palettes here. These are wax bases. This is called Morag's palette from the makeup artist Morag Ross, the world famous makeup artist Morag Ross. She's put this palette together of her favourite colours that she would use to make up a woman on a film. If I go through the colours very quickly with you, you can see how flat the palette is. This is because makeup artists need to be able to travel as lightly as possible. So this palette, you can see, packs really lightly and it's really good. The colours are fantastic. This colour number 14 does under the eyes and any greyness. So a lot of people mix it with their touche éclat. So if I just give you, Alice, I don't think, being so young, has a major problem under her eyes, but it's lovely and warm, it's very sheer. Again, if you want to use your mixer to thin it, just dip your brush in first. And then, the good thing about this palette, it's so cheap, you can buy one per artist. So you don't have to worry about decanting out. Lots of you will have the big Makiage palette. This one is a kind of way for you to not have to scrape off into little palettes. So this number 14 goes under the eyes. Before I go any further, I should say that we have, apart from doing this in the big palette, this is Morag's palette, we have also done this little palette here, which is our Corrective. Maybe this is more sort of student-based because it's so much cheaper and you get a lot for your money. Again, it's very small. If I go through the colours that we've got here, we've got a lovely gold. This has come from a makeup artist that recommended it, Shauna Harrison. This gold is fantastic on Asian skin tones under the eyes. Something I didn't realise till Shauna pointed out to me. It reflects light brilliantly, and of course touche éclat doesn't work on Asian skin tones under the eyes. We've got a lovely lilac here. Again, this is fantastic if you've got someone who smokes heavily and you want to counteract the greyness that's in their skin. You can apply this. You can mix it with your mixer. It's all interchangeable. We've got this CR colour. Again, makeup artists use this all the time to counteract red. So you've got counteract dark colours for Asians, counteract smokers' greyness, to counteract red. Back to the number 14, which is your touche éclat in this format to go under the eyes. And then the number 117, which is the best shader in the business. Everybody uses 117. You can chisel in cheekbones, you can disguise a slightly fatter jawline like my own with 117. There's all sorts of things you can do with 117. It's a really good shader. On the top level here, we've put the very popular sort of posy cheek colours that are very, very, very popular for just adding a bit of warmth to the cheeks in the apple. We've got the pinky tone there and we've got the orange tone. On this side we've got a true carmine, again for makeup artists, very popular in the film industry for period productions. It can be used on lips, can be used on cheeks. This palette is so usable in so many different areas. Then we've got a true red, great lipstick, great skin colour. And in the middle we've put quite a modern shimmery colour, which you can mix with your 8-hour cream or just put on neat to add a little bit of gloss to the lips. So there's your palette there, relatively cheap and available at PAM. So getting back, this is exactly the same stuff in a wider, flatter palette, just for ease of applying it as a base. So if we were to go with Alice, looking at Alice's skin colour, the first thing I would say is that Alice has got a little bit of redness here in her cheeks. So if we just very thinly, using our mixer, I've got some on my hand already, and a bit of the CR greeny colour, this is the colour here that I was showing you. If we just knock back some of that red, and you can see you don't need very much. It just takes that, compare the two sides of Alice's face, where we've just taken that red away there. And hardly, Alice, does it feel like there's anything on there?
No, not at all.
Very light, okay? We've got a slight bit up here. And you know, we do have to keep it light nowadays because most of us are working on high definition, and we know that every single bit of it picks up. And we're all fighting time. We're always going to have people shouting at us saying they want the artist. So there we are. We're just knocking back that red there. Very quickly, very lightly. This might look heavy, but it's as light as you want to make it. It's a fantastic tool for the makeup artist, and that's why it's so popular. So we've just knocked the red back there already. And even that in itself would probably be enough as a corrective. But for the point of view of making her look as good as possible, just with the base, let's go to the next level, and I'm going to use TL3, which is the most popular colour for the Makiage. It looks quite dark. It will look fine on Alice. We'll just add a nice, slightly warmer colour. And again, less is more. Just lightly put that all over her face. Alice, just turn that way for me. So we just take that. I hope you can see there how easily it goes on, especially once you've put the mixer on. And you can see the reflective, why it's so popular in photography and in the film world is it bounces back light brilliantly. And that's why it's used in Hollywood. And now just turn that way for me. I'm not going to bother with the neck. We all know that we would take it further down the neck, but obviously I would, but depending on her neckline. But for now, just look forward. You can see we've still got a little bit of red there. I think the colour's coming through with Alice as I'm working with her. But that's fine. Let's just go back with a little bit of green, mixed maybe with a little bit of the light, this lovely ivory colour. Just a slight, ever such a slight amount there. And see, maybe she's a little bit blue just in the corner of her eyes. Too many late nights. So we'll just go back to our corrective. And again, using the mixer, ever so lightly just take that away. Now that I've hopefully evened up her skin tone, and you can be, when I was first shown Le Makiage in Paris, she uses the brush quite violently, almost to buff it, because it is wax, it's not grease. You want to almost really work it into the skin, and we quite often leave it for a couple of hours. We make the actress up and we let them go to breakfast before we powder it. Whereas we haven't got that time here, I'm just going to finally, Alice, if you could smile for me. Going back to these lovely little cheek colours here that we all like, I'm just going to use this lovely posy colour on the cheeks. This is great just to give a little bit of lightness to the skin, so just smile. And I know it's an old-fashioned way of doing blusher, but I really like to do it just in the apple of the cheek, just to give that natural look. So I'm just putting a little bit of warmth back in the face, very lightly. you can always just tip it up there as well. And finally, we're going to use the Makiage powder. Again, they do an HD powder that you can see how fine it is. It's almost a liability. There's two powders. There's Makeup Forever and there's Le Makiage, and they both do wonderful HD powders because shine is a problem on high definition. So I'm just very lightly, and with a tiny amount of powder, just going to take that shine down where we need to. We want some of that lovely light reflectivity to come through. So let's just ever so lightly take that down. Maybe we need a brush for under the eyes. But again, use your hand or a palette. You don't want to kill all the shine. You want a little bit. We don't want them looking flat. And the final thing is, I was talking about this, people think this is a slightly strange colour because it's pearlised, but you know, this palette is relatively cheap and you get an awful lot for your money there. You can almost do a makeup. Between these two palettes, you can do a lot of makeups, including period makeups. So I would probably mix this with a bit of Vaseline or 8 Hour. But if we even just for now, just put a bit of shine on Alice's lips. Using this lovely little colour in the middle, which is pearlised. There we are. Now I know I haven't done lip line or anything like that, but we're keeping this as a very natural look, just to make her look healthy. Brush through her eyebrows, bit of mascara, and there we are.